Okay, just a reminder, we are working in Corel Paint Shop Pro now. So you would double click on that. If the dialog box does come up and ask, you're going to tell it to launch the program. Most likely it's going to come straight up to this. What we're going to work with today is taking two different pictures and bringing them in together. So I'm going to start by creating a new file, File New. I do not want it to have a color in the background. So I'm going to click Transparent. I'm going to tell it in inches that I want this to be 5 by 7. And I say OK. So there's where I'm going to put my stuff. I'm going to go to the internet and I'm going to find a picture. It is always good to use things from the public domain. That way you don't have to worry about copyright stuff. So I'm just going to go to their newest photos and I'm going to use a picture of the morning coffee. And the other thing good about this is that it's a large picture, right? So I'm going to copy this image. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to edit, paste as, I'm going to do a new image. Okay, so this is its own image. You could have done it as a new layer, but this is all right too. I'm going to get off of that cropping tool. Okay, so now I need another picture to put with it. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here and find another picture. What would look good with our coffee cup? We're going to put, let's just put this picture with it. Okay, no, it doesn't necessarily go with it. It's not very pretty, so y'all probably want me to change something different. Let's go to the monument in Jackson Square. Okay, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy this image, and when I come over, instead of doing it as a new layer, it's going to be edit, paste. Instead of pasting it as a new image like I did before, I'm going to do it as a new layer. Problem is, it totally covers up my coffee cup, right? So I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to use my shape selection tool, and what I am actually going to do is change to my crop tool, and I'm going to get it to where that all I have is that, and when I press enter, it crops him off. Okay, I'm going to get my pick tool and I'm making him smaller. See how I'm making him smaller? And so now if I look at it, he's on my coffee cup using some of what we learned yesterday. So I'm going to come over here to my Learning Center. If for some reason it's not showing, you go to View and you go down to Palettes and you make sure there's a Check by Learning Center. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go down to my Text and Graphics and I'm going to put a border around the entire picture. Okay. So to get a border or a frame around the whole thing, I'm going to click on Add Frames and Photo Edges. And remember, it gives me all these different options, and when you click on one, it tells you what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm just going to go with that one. So then I'm going to move this up. So I have my coffee cup with the frame around it, with the cool picture on it, but I want to make sure everyone knows this is my coffee cup, so I'm going to put my name on it too. So once again, if you weren't at home, you could start at home. You're going to go to Text and Graphics, and you want to add text. You want to make sure and choose your font and all that good stuff before you actually type. I want it to be in red and red. I'm going to do red for both of those. When you get it the color you want and all that, you click and you say what you want it to be. Mrs. Cood. Mrs. Cood's Coffee. And we apply it, and then you can put it where you want. If you want it bigger, you can actually, if you can get a hold of that corner, you can move it. Once you ever get off of that, it's hard to get it back. I'm going to go back to my pick tool, and I'm going to try to pick it, but it's really hard to actually get just that. So I finally got it. Let's see if we can keep it, and so then I can move it. And there's Mrs. Cood's Coffee on the coffee mug along with another picture. Okay, so you've just got things kind of layered together. If you did it like this, you could zoom. You could go to your view and you could zoom. You could do probably zoom out and maybe zoom out one more time so that you see exactly what we've got. Okay, my coffee mug might not be totally centered. I could move it. I have to click over here on that layer and then I could move it. But the problem is the other stuff didn't go with it, right? So you probably don't really want to make a lot of changes after you get it going. So now we have all those layers. We don't want layers. We're done with it. So we're going to go File. We're going to do Save As. And if you're totally done with it, you go to your Z drive, to your folder, and you give it your name, and you make sure if you're totally done with it that you save it as a JPEG. When you do that, it's going to ask you a question. If you tell it no, it will not save it. You have to tell it yes. And now you can't make any more changes to it, but it's ready to send it on to me. Okay, so what we've learned today different is we've learned how to put two pictures together using layers. So all in all, for the last 2 days, we can paste an image as a new picture. We can paste an image as a new layer. We can move them around with each other. We can add text and we can add a frame. So your assignment for today is going to have you creating all of that. You're going to have to go find your pictures. It tells you a website to go to get them. You're going to have to get them in. You're going to have to get them together. You're going to have to add text and a frame. You got to save them as JPEGs, and then you're going to email your final thing to me. So do the best you can. Work hard. Stay on task and use all school appropriate graphics, please. Y'all have a great day.